Hello, welcome to my talk Personalized Learning and Personalized Practice of Chess Tactics. My name is Martin Benedict and I've created a website chesspuzzle.net which has the best chess puzzles in the world. And first of all I want to start with an example puzzle. So in this puzzle white can win with a Greek gift sacrifice. Bishop takes h7 check, queen h5 check, and rook h3 with a checkmate on the h file. Now I want to play the same puzzle again. Bishop h7, and we can also start with rook h3 check, transposing the moves, and we can also checkmate on h8 instead of on h7. So let's have a look at the solution. First of all, on other chess websites, the puzzle would have already stopped after the first move. So you would play bishop takes h7 check, and the puzzle would end and you'd have won the puzzle, but maybe you'd have no idea why you won. And that's because on other websites, the puzzles just consist of a sequence of forced moves. But here we have several options. On move 2 we can give rook h3 or queen h5 check, and on the final move we can checkmate on h7 or on h8. And as you can see here, chesspuzzle.net also detects the tactical motives automatically and shows them here in the solution with text and with arrows. So for example, bishop takes h7 is a decoy, and we see the text comment, the white bishop decoys black's king, and if we replay the move we also see here this blue arrow. And we can hover over decoy and get an explanation of the term. Okay, so we have a automated comprehensive detection of motives, and we also automatically generate annotation with text and arrows. And the website also had some success. In February and in March, chesspuzzle.net was the 10th biggest chess website in the world. Okay, now I'm going to show you the personalized learning. This is a new feature on chesspuzzle.net. It's called Puzzle Academy. And for this feature, we've assigned the motives that the students can learn to skills. So here you see some example skills: discovered attack, discovered check, pin, and skewer. And each skill can have several levels. For example, backrank mate could have backrank mate in 1 as the first level and backrank mate in 2 moves as the second level. As you can see here, these example skills all have 4 different levels. And these skills then form a skill tree. So a skill tree is a concept that was introduced in video games. I think the first video game that had good skill trees was Diablo 2. But of course there it's the virtual skills of the avatar that you are playing and not real skills. And here we've used this concept from video games for Puzzle Academy. And here you see an example of the skill tree in action. So the student first has to learn rook forks and bishop forks, and when he has learned both of them, he can start learning queen forks. And then if he's mastered queen forks and also mastered deflection, they can start to practice deflection into fork. It's a combination of a deflection and a fork. Okay, now let's have a look at the curriculum with some examples. Okay, here's our curriculum page, and the curriculum has several areas: fundamentals, tactics, combinations, checkmate patterns, checkmate combinations, and defense. Okay, in fundamentals, basically you learn to capture your opponent's pieces and to defend your own pieces. Let's have a look at an example puzzle. So here black has to defend, and you can see that the black queen is attacked by this rook and it has to move away. So it can't go to c5 because of this pawn, can't go to b7 because of this knight. So the only good squares are c7 and d8. But if you go to d8, then the rook could capture the bishop, which would be unprotected. So the only good square is to go to c7. Okay, that was an example puzzle for fundamentals. Yeah, and the next area here is tactics. And basically here you can see all the motives that you'd learn in a good tactics book as well. But of course we have much more examples. If you look here at the top, you can see how many levels there are. So there are 239 levels at the moment with 96 skills, and there's already more than 70,000 puzzles. I think the last update, even this number has grown to more than 80,000 puzzles. Yeah, you have all the forks, discovered a check, discovered attack, discovered check, pin, skewer, capture defender, deflection, trapping pieces, attacking a pinned piece, attacking the defender using the pin, intermediate move and check, and interference. And let's have a look at an example as well. So here's an example of trapping a piece. I think level 2, and by retreating this bishop to e8 and attacking the rook, which can only go to c4, and then you can attack it again and it's trapped. The next area is combinations, and in combinations you combine several tactical motives to win material. And these kinds of combinations, usually in books, you find one example. But here with the automatic motive detection, we found many examples, and some of them really happen a lot, even in the games of grandmasters and the best players of the world. And I have an example for that as well. Here's a game between Anand and Leko, and Anand with white could win here with queen h8 check, followed by knight takes f7 and knight takes g5, winning a rook. And if we look at the solution here, so this was both a decoy of the black king to h8 and deflecting it from protecting f7, followed by a fork. And yeah, there's many more combinations. So you've got deflections, decoys, trading, And then you've got clearance and attacking the defender as well. The next section is checkmate patterns. So here we've got 29 different checkmate patterns. Most of them with several levels. Yeah, we saw an example for that at the beginning. Checkmate combinations. Here you combine tactical motives with the idea of checkmating the opponent. So there's also decoy, mating net, deflection, opening a line, blocking the escape square, clearance, and double check. And last section is defense. Yeah, there's several skills where you have to defend against the checkmate. Two where you have to defend against promotion. Desperado, that's always fun. And some new levels where you have to avoid something. I want to show you an example for that. So here in this example, black just played king to e7 and attacked our rook. So the rook has two squares where it's not attacked directly, d5 and c6, but only one of them is correct. Because if the rook goes to c6, then black has a fork on d4 with a knight, forking the king and rook and winning the rook. So the only good move is rook to d5. And if we go to the solution, first of all we see the threat here, and also we see the line that had to be avoided. So not rook to c6 because of knight d4 check, king e3 and knight takes c6. Okay, that was the curriculum. So now in Puzzle Academy there's a loop for the student. So first they learn new skills, and then they have to master the new skills. And when they have mastered them, based on the skill tree, they can unlock again another new skill. Yeah, and in the learn step, first of all, the student selects a new skill that they want to learn, and then they play 10 puzzles, all with that motive that they are going to learn, and they pass if they get at least 5 out of 10 right. And then the new skill is added to the practice pool. So when they practice again, they will get puzzles with this new motive that they learned. Okay, now I want to demonstrate this. And here I've got a test account. This test account is currently on level 19. And here you can see the dashboard for Puzzle Academy. And we get detailed statistics about how we are doing on the skills that we've already unlocked. So here they are also divided into these areas, as we saw in the curriculum. So fundamentals, everything is green. We're doing great. Here this is tactics, we're also doing fine, and we see that we just unlocked queen fork. And combinations, we just unlocked trade into pin, and it says keep practicing. And smothered mate, we've also just unlocked. Okay, let's unlock a new skill. And here are the suggestions of new skills that we could try to learn, also based on the skills that we've already mastered and the skill tree. So let's unlock a checkmate pattern. Let's say Arabian mate. In Arabian mate, rook checkmates the king, and it's protected by knight. Yeah, the traditional Arabian mate is in the corner. So you also see this a couple of times. Okay, so that was easy. Of course, I already know the Arabian mate pattern. Okay, so we got all of them right. And this is now unlocked. So here we could review the puzzles and look at their solutions again. But let's go back to the skills overview. And now if we go to checkmate patterns, we see that we've unlocked the Arabian mate here. Okay, and the next step in the loop is the personalized practice. And there the students get puzzles from all of the skills that they've unlocked so far. So this is more difficult. You don't know what is the motive of the puzzle. You have to analyze the position and find the motive and the moves yourself. This is without any hint other than that it's any of the motives you already know. And that kind of hint is pretty useless when you've unlocked more than a few skills. And yeah, then you get detailed statistics that you saw on the dashboard. These green and red bars, they are based on the last 20 puzzles that you played. And if you got at least 15 out of the last 20 right, then it's assumed that you've mastered the skill, and then you're able to unlock additional skills based on the skill tree. And now I want to also demonstrate the practice mode. You can customize the practice mode a little bit. You can say how many puzzles you want to do in the session. So let's do 10 puzzles, and you can have a optional timer as well. And here it says black has to defend, and here we are just in check, and the only good move is king h8 because knight e7 would double knight. So. And here white can checkmate. That's the Arabian mate. And here we can give a fork. And here we can pin the queen. And here we have to defend. Our rook is attacked. We can't protect the rook with the king because we are cut off by this rook. So the only good square seems to be to go here. And here we can checkmate again. It's again the Arabian mate that we just unlocked. Yeah, and here we are in check. We can't put the rook in between, so we have to go here. And here we can give a fork and win the queen. And here we can give a pawn fork and win the bishop. And here it's again the Arabian mate that we just unlocked. Okay, so that was the demo. Okay, some notes for the teachers and coaches. So this is called a spiral curriculum. Um, so in the spiral curriculum, basically you learn something, then you practice it, and at some later point, you use what you learned to learn something new. So that happens here by unlocking new levels of the same skill or new skills based on the skill tree. And quick comparison with other methods that are used in chess. So this is not the woodpecker method. In the woodpecker method you have a fixed set of puzzles and repeat that set until you've mastered it. And it's also not a spaced repetition where you repeat a fixed set of positions and variations to memorize them. Puzzle Academy is now in beta test. Individuals can join the beta test by becoming a patron on the site. And if you are a chess coach or a teacher and you want to try this with your students, please contact me and you'll get free access to the beta test. And the website for Puzzle Academy is chesspuzzle.net/learn. So please go there and participate in the beta test and learn all the chess tactics.